Well, it's been very interesting. I like our team. We are very fortunate to have the majority of our basically our entire starting lineup back. And I think that we've done an excellent job of recruiting this year. So I'm excited. I remember last year when I got here, how different the team looked. We still have a long way to go. And at the same time, I feel that we're miles ahead of where we were last year at this time. So it's exciting. When you think about, I thought that our half-court defense was exceptional. I thought that our ability to score toward the end of the game in the second half, I always thought was very solid. The thing for us is we just didn't have enough horses. We just didn't have enough guys. And, I laughed because I told my team last year, listen, this is an opportunity where you're going to be able to play a lot of minutes. And, so I rode them pretty hard. And in the end, if they had enough going down the stretch, we had a chance to win. If not, then we succumb to sometimes the lack of bodies and just being tired. But it's going to be interesting because we have a really great young guys coming in. We have Donovan Totley, who, sat out last year. And he's someone that people know. People know where he's from. They know what he's done in his career. Hadn't played in the last couple of years, but super talented, extremely quick. And I think that he'll be one of the most exciting players in the conference. When you start to think about all the other young guys we have coming in, Lucas is 6'10". He's a point guard, basically. And I said, well, I've only known 2 point guards, 6'7" and above. And that was two of them. One of them's here and the other one lives in LA. So, and he said, well, what about Melo? I said, okay. There's another one. So it's just exciting. I'm interested to see what we can do this year. I'm very interested to see if the veteran guys can continue to build our culture and to continue to build on what we possibly could do. Now, I think on paper we look really good, but you know how that is.
Absolutely. Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. We'll now open it for questions. First question goes to Charles Hallman.
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Not bad, Charles. How are you?
Good. I haven't seen you since you was in Minnesota many years ago.
There we go. There we go. That was a good time.
It was a good time.
In Minnesota. People live in Minnesota, by the way.
Yes. A couple questions, just in terms of is this team is coming to what you wanted to be since you became coach, and how have you been able to do what you do and also have to be the athletic director as well?
Well, first of all, I got to have a great staff. On either side. I've got a tremendous staff. On the AD side, I've got a tremendous staff on the coaching side. It allows me to do the big picture things and basically delegate. I got a lot of great ideas, and I see things. A lot of times you have to have listen, you got to have soldiers. You got to have guys that are willing to be proactive in their jobs, and we get together on both sides, whether it's the athletic director side or AD side, and we come together with what's going on and we make decisions. It's difficult. Don't get me wrong. I have a lot of respect, tremendous amount of respect for athletic directors and what they have to go through. A lot more than I did in the past, but it's an opportunity when you think about it. I mean, not many of us get a chance to do things like this. I look at it at this point in my life, I've said this before, it's just such a blessing for me to be able to have the opportunity to really affect change and affect the lives of a lot of kids. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build a championship culture here at Bethune-Cookman. And that championship culture starts with discipline. It starts with having fun comes out of the hard work. It comes from having bodies that we didn't have in the past. And I speak both athletic director and team wise, because, you know, it's sometimes when a natural thing in the HBCUs is that everybody's got to do 4 jobs. Well, a lot of times when you have to do 4 jobs, you miss on both ends. So we've done a lot to build the athletic department, and we're really proud of the way we're building our basketball team.
Thank you, Coach. Congratulations again, and good luck this season.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Dr. Cavill with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Coach Theus, good to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I used to have a pro like that back in the day, you know.
Yeah, I'm trying to bring it back. Since COVID, they shut it down. I hadn't been back to the bar, to get a hit to the barber. So we'll see if we can make it work. Now it's officially my professor look. We'll see what that does.
It's got something to it, that's for sure. As long as you don't have a little comb in the back of your head, we're good.
No, we're gonna leave that. I'm not ready for that. At least I'll say that. I just do that at the house, you know. Outside, I'm not ready for all the blowback. You know, that's a lot. Appreciate when you able to get that done for us. Yeah. But that gym that you play on is amazing there in terms of what could be a tremendous home court advantage. So as I get into this, if you could kind of give us a little idea of what that looks like in terms of taking what may be an older gymnasium, but making it yours and making it the most of what you can get and supporting you. I know that's a different framework, but getting to some players. Ken Davis, the guard forward, 6'5". I know you talked about most of your people back. Does that include him and Joe French, the guard, 6'5", 180 pounds? As they matriculate another year in your system, are they both back? And how do you plan to integrate them with the extended players that you have coming in to the program?
Well, you know, I think that, you know, we're in a situation where we could play a lot of 5-out motion. I think that there is a opportunity to, you know, to play more open. There's an opportunity to play basically 94 feet offensively and defensively. Joe French is back. KJ is back. My 2 leading scorers, you know, obviously Marcus Garrett, who was probably, in my opinion, you can correct me if you think differently, but I think at the end of the season, he was one of the top 3 point guards in the league.
Great point.
And he is a bulldog. He is, you know, this is a kid that, let me tell you something about this kid.
Mm-hmm.
From the start of practice, from the day 1 to the end of practice, I don't think Marcus took 1 play off at practice. I think Marcus took almost every rep there was. And then he played a lot of minutes on top of it. So he is truly one of those guys that gets the absolute most out of his abilities. And you have to respect that about him. So you have him coming back, he earned a lot. And the one thing I think my players would all say is they learned a lot about basketball, how to play basketball, the way it should be played, and the demands that it takes to be good. And now I would say that our record was not anywhere near as good as we were playing. And I say that because, you know, I think sometimes we just ran out of gas. And we just didn't have enough to sustain the intensity and the level that we have built. So we had moments where it just didn't work. And as a former player and as a coach, I had to accept, you know, who we were. The one thing I told our team this year is that in the course of the entire year, I probably had 4 times in the course of the entire year, I didn't think those guys came and gave me 100%, whether it be a practice or something else. It was a group of guys that I didn't have to have any team rules because they were present. It's a very high character team. And I'm here to tell you, character counts when it comes to winning and losing. So I'm really interested. I'm interested to see what we can do because we won't have any lack of talent on our team this year. We've got We got Elijah Hosu, who's almost 7 feet. Dylan Robinson is coming back. He's 6'9", pogo stick. We got James Henderson, who's a 6'8" strong guy who can rebound and play defense. And then when you look at, DJ Hollinger, I call him DJ, it's Derek, transfer from Montana, who's capable of playing 3 different positions, but he can play a little bit of 5, he can play the 4, and he can play the 3. So we're going to have a lot of different ways. I counted, when I went on the board, I counted how many different ways we could play with the type of talent that we have. And there was about 23 different lineups I could put out there that I thought would be effective. So that's a great thing for me. And, because, you don't know who's going to get hurt. You don't know what's going to happen. And ultimately, I'm trying to find out the best way. Last year, I joysticked the entire game. This year, I want to give them more freedom. I want to give them more freedom. And I have to remind them that, along with freedom comes great responsibility. And if you can play that way, it'll be fantastic. It'll be a lot of fun.
Thank you, Coach. I look forward to the season, but particularly when you happen to make that Texas trip. Look forward to seeing you out here and saying hello to your team.
Well, it'd be a pleasure. Come on up.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach Theus, I hope you and everybody at VCU are well. Can you talk a little bit about NBA players from the HBCU experience? We can throw back and look at some of the grades, but talk about the opportunities guys can have in this day and age.
Well, I think that the great part about the NBA is it's very progressive in its attitude and it's wanting to be socially conscious. I think it's been in the forefront of all of those issues. We even had a HBCU NBA showcase over the summer. And again, the opportunity to be seen is there. But I tell people all the time, whether you're at an HBCU or a Power 5, if you're good enough, they'll find you. There's only 3 things that are important. It's minutes, style of play, and the coach. Where you go to school is when you talk about playing professionally, when you talk about going to the next level, those things are not what's important. But I'm very proud of our conference. Dr. McCullum, he's done a phenomenal job with our conference, building our conference, giving our conference the swag that it needs, and also the substance, and building that, with the new TV deal that we have, and just the way people are talking about our conference now. It is a conference that people recognize as being an up and coming conference, but a conference that has athletes in it and players. And people sleep on the coaching. There's very good coaching in our conference. And as it grows and as it gets better, the coaching will even get better because the players are going to get better. And I remind my guys all the time, there are no such thing as great coaches. There's just really great players. Because I've seen a lot of great coaches lose when they don't have great players.
Coach, when HBCU football teams play so-called money games, or they play some of the bigger Power 5s, it can be challenging for rosters and injuries. But when you look at basketball, you only need 5 guys on each side, 10 guys in a basketball out there. Just talk a little bit about playing some of the Power 5 games and what that's been like, and going forward, what you envision. And we see it in the tournament at the end of the season and even earlier in the year. But what's your thoughts on playing Power 5 schools?
Well, I welcome it. I enjoy it. I think it's a great challenge. Our players are always wanting to move on and go to different places to play. And it's a great barometer to where you are. The money obviously is needed. We have 3 really tough games this year. We play Indiana, Iowa, and Illinois. When you play Illinois and you play, Iowa, you're going against the upper echelon of the Big Ten, which is no joke. But at the same time, I believe that it's not about, yeah, you'd love to win one and sneak them somehow or another, but to really push your players and to show them what they need to work on, what we need to work on as a team, and to keep them focused is what's most important.
Coach, in closing, any final comments? You experienced Cal State Northridge, and obviously it didn't have the budget that, say, maybe one of the bigger schools would have with the backing. But when you look at that experience and some of the HBCU experience, can you contrast that just a little bit?
Well, I mean, there's a difference. You know, listen, I've turned around a program at New Mexico State where they won 6 games a year before I got there. I went to Northridge that has never really had any real success. And there's reasons why it's never really had any real success. I believe that at New Mexico State, the administration and the basketball program were in lockstep of what needs to happen. At Bethune-Cookman, you know, being the AD does help. And because it puts me in direct connection with the upper administration. And the upper administration, they want to see us thrive. And they didn't think outside the box to make me the athletic director and the head basketball coach if they weren't willing to support. So it's very difficult to contrast the two because one, the administration act like it didn't really care, and this administration really does. Now, the budget at Northridge was twice as much as the budget here, to be honest with you. But I think that when you think about HBCUs, I think you have to really think about facilities. You know, the facilities are the thing that holds us back as much as anything, because in today's world, in this microwave society, kids are very into amenities, and those amenities in other places are just that much better. And I know I've lost 5 or 6 players because they went to schools that had better facilities, and you know, there's nothing I can say about that. If that's what's important, then that's what you have to deal with. But if you're trying to get to the next level, this 4 years goes quick, and you got to be coached well. You got to be mentored well. You got to be in a place where you can get your academics, because that is more important than anything. Because let's face it, there's only a very small percentage of guys who are going to get a chance to play at the next level. But at the same time, you know, that dream is real. And we want to make sure that they have everything they need to fulfill both dreams. And that is getting a great education and having a chance to play professionally.
Reggie, real quick, you were a member of the inaugural Orlando Magic team. Yeah. Now they have the first pick overall, the gentleman, Paulo, who played at Duke, a one and done type of player. When you think about his upside, what do you see in that young gentleman?
Well, you know, he played hard. He's an inside-outside guy. He's got good size. He gets to the rim. I mean, he's got all the tools. As it comes to, you know, when it comes to the Magic, you know, having one player and getting a great pick, now you have to make sure you have sustainability. It's about the other pieces, because that piece is not supposed to be the end all. That piece is supposed to come in and blend with veterans. And as much as anything, I think Alec Martin has done a great job over there. You know, the new coach he's done, he's a good guy, and he's a good coach. What has to happen now is just sustainability. You got to build the franchise from the bottom up, or from the top down. And when you do that, you're gonna be good. And you know, I remember how great the fans were in Orlando, and you know, so I expect that to stay the same. It's just a great basketball community in general in the Florida area. So it was fun. So I can tell you, I was ready to make Orlando my home for real, and then I got traded. But it was a lot of fun that first year.
Thank you, Coach. Have a great season.
All right, thank you.
Coach Theus, we sincerely appreciate your time and good luck this season.
Thank you very, very much. I appreciate you all. Have a good one. If you need anything, just holler.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you.
Just a quick note to our media that are in attendance. If you do have a question for our head coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please limit your questions to 2 questions, 1 initial question, and then potentially a follow-up question. If we've got time in our coaches' slots of availability, we will work our way back to get additional questions asked. With that being said, we're happy to be joined by Alabama A&M head coach Otis Hughley. I do see Coach on the line with us. See if we can get Coach's video going here. Might be experiencing some technical difficulties there with Coach Hughley. We will try to get him here on the call here momentarily. Thank you for your patience. Good morning, Coach. Good morning, Coach.
Hello.
Hey, Coach there. Can you hear us? Coach, can you hear us?
Hello.
Yes, sir. Can you hear us, Coach Hughley? I think we might be having some technical difficulties with Coach's audio there. We're going to try to get this resolved here momentarily. Thank you for your patience. Coach Hughley, can you hear us?
I can't hear anything. Let me just leave the meeting.
Okay, we'll try to get Coach Hughley on. I do see that we have Coach Madlock with us. Coach Madlock, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you guys hear me?
Outstanding. I can hear you loud and clear. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. We're afternoon now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Good afternoon. Coach, thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule to join us. We know you have a robust schedule there with practices and your team getting ready for the season, so we'll try to expedite this process. But Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement previewing the 2022-2023 edition of the Alabama State Hornets.
All right, thank you. First of all, hello to everyone. Excited about being the new head coach at Alabama State University. Of course, the guys have been working extremely hard. We had guys in all summer, and of course, we just started official practice, and we're ready to get it going, man. So we're excited about it.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. We'll now open up for questions for Coach Madlock. First question goes to the Yard HBCU Sports.
Good afternoon, Coach Madlock. How are you?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. My name is Dwayne Nash with the Yard HBCU Sports. My first question, you said that you've been there practicing with your players ever since the summer. How much has your team picked up your coaching philosophy, and how do you think your coaching style would translate into the SWAC this upcoming season?
Yeah, the guys have been working really hard, man. From day one, man, these guys have been bought into what I'm preaching, and working extremely hard and trying to find out exactly what I want. And anytime a new coach comes in, new staff, new system, trying to change the culture, it's an everyday process. And these guys have really bought in so far to exactly everything I'm trying to teach. And I'm proud of these guys, man. But like I said, we're just getting started. Got a lot of work to do to change the culture and to try to turn this program around.
Quick follow-up, Coach, real quick. How much easier is it to have TJ there to help you teach your coaching style to the new players?
Yeah, it's been really good. We talked about it yesterday. We had a before we hit the floor yesterday, we had a little meeting. I was telling those guys, they've heard from me before, but, TJ is really the only one that knows what I expect and, how I'm trying to do things and, my coaching style. And, and we talked about, hey, man, don't take anything I say personal because, I coach guys hard. I really get after guys, but it's all from trying to win. It's all about love. You're going to know that I love you, but so, yeah, it's been really good because, once, I leave out of the locker room, he can be that guy in the locker room, say, hey, man, don't worry about coach. He's good. Don't worry about it. Those type of things. So, yeah, he's been good for what we're trying to do.
All right. Thanks so much, coach, and have good luck for the season.
Thank you very much.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Bill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Welcome to the SWAC, Coach Madlock.
Thank you very much.
Can you talk a little bit about your roster turnover and what does that look like and how has that allowed you to get going as you have these young men working hard for you, you said? Well,
in today's day and age, that the transfer portal is real. And so when I, took the job, I think, probably 10 guys were in the transfer portal. So I had to come in and basically get a brand new roster. So, it was hitting the ground running from April, to try to find guys, but I was able to get a couple guys from a transfer portal. I got a couple, from junior college, got some high school guys. So I like the makeup of the roster, but that's in the day's age, man, it's always going to be turnover because of the transfer portal. But I'm proud of what we were able to do late in the recruiting process.
Obviously, you've had previous success about rebuilding the program, and you're going to do that to some degree at Alabama State or work towards it. Can you talk about a little bit about your style of play, offensively and defensively?
Well, and we talk about this all the time with my guys, is that our identity for this program is going to be, how hard we play. I want to be a tough team. I want to be a mentally tough team, and I want to be a disciplined team. So we do those things. I think we got a chance. But my style offensively, we're going to play fast. Last year, my team at South Carolina State averaged over 70 points a game. So we get up and down. We try to get after people. Defensively, we're going to be mostly man. But we switch up, defenses a lot. But our deal is getting after people and just being a tough-minded team.
Do I have a chance to ask a follow-up question at this time?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
All right, no problem. Thank you, Andrew. Coach, a follow-up question I have is in terms of where you want to take your program as you get into some of these games, whether it's non-conference or conference. Talk about your idea of the building process. What does that look like for you, and what is your experience in getting that done?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough climb. Anytime you think about you have a program that hasn't won, in a long time. So to have a winning season, we got to find a way when you got to go on the road for 12 of your 13 non-conference games, you got to go on the road. So anybody, and I think anybody in our league knows that's tough to do, man. In college basketball, when you get on that road, it is tough. It is tough. So to start is, we've got to try to build that culture on find a way to win some of those games. We understand that, you're going and playing these bye games, but you got to find a way to win a few of them, because, you don't want to be, 0 and whatever going into SWAC play so you got to find a way to win a couple games before you get in the SWAC play. So, but it just starts with the culture, man. It's in finding guys and telling guys, hey, man, it's all about winning. What can we do to win games? And so that's what we're about right now.
Thank you, Coach Madlock. Good luck this season.
Thank you very much.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and the guys are well. Can you talk a little bit about making the move from the MEAC to the SWAC? You talk about South Carolina State University, and now you're in the hornet's nest, so to speak, guiding the basketball team and student athletes.
Yeah, it's, one thing last year being my first year at HBCU was really eye-opening for me. It was everything that I expected. For us to be able to last year at South Carolina State go from 1 win to 15 wins in 1 year, I thought was something that I got to give my players a lot of credit for, and my staff. But now, coming to a new league that I think it's the SWAC is a really good basketball league. Got some really good coaches, man. The guys that I've been knowing for a long time in this league. So, I'm up for the challenge, man. But I know it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough, man, because there's a lot of good programs in this league and a lot of good coaches. So, just come in, man. Just kind of, be real quiet. Get these guys to work hard and kind of see where it goes from there.
Coach, at the end of the day, it's basketball, and you've played it, Memphis, you've coached it, Ole Miss, University of Mississippi, HBCU. And so just talk a little bit about putting your stamp on this ball club and just working with these student athletes, and they'll be able to earn an education in the process.
No doubt about it. And this HBCU experience is something that I've never seen, coming from the places I've been at, at Auburn and Ole Miss and Memphis. When you get to HBCU, man, it's just a lot of pride. And now I have an opportunity to teach these young men and to mold these young men. And it's been really good for me last year, and hopefully it will be the same this year and moving forward here at Alabama State. But, it's all about culture. It's trying to find guys to find winners, and that's what we got to find, guys that know how to win and want to do all the little things that it takes to win. So that's where we are right now.
Thank you, sir. Enjoy Montgomery and enjoy the ASU program. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Coach Madlock, we sincerely appreciate your time and good luck this season.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we're going to be joined by Coach Hughley with Alabama A&M. I do believe we've got the technical issues resolved. We are a tad bit behind schedule. We appreciate everyone's patience with us. I do see that we have Coach Hughley. Coach, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Outstanding. Appreciate your patience there as we got your technical issues resolved, Coach. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, just previewing the 2022-2023 Alabama A&M Bulldogs men's basketball team.
Well, I think conference-wise, it's probably a new day. That's been dawning for maybe some time now, just unawares with the influx and infusion of really experienced basketball coaches. Not that it hadn't been in the past, but we do stand on the shoulders of those that came before us. And in keeping with that, we're hoping that we have this program pick up where it left off, playing really good basketball at the end, led by a few players that are really familiar with the conference.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill. Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Welcome to the SWAC, Coach Hugh.
Thank you. How are you, Doc?
I'm doing pretty good. I know a lot of folks in football, but I'm excited about getting into some basketball talks. I appreciate this opportunity. Want to talk to you about your philosophy in regards to playing the game of basketball, offensively and defensively, if you don't mind.
Well, my lineage is probably specific. Everyone has one. Dr. Naismith, John McClendon, Ben Jones, Van Pettaway, now me. We
pretty good.
Yeah. That's a direct descent.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I won't have any peach baskets, but we'll still comply. We'll still comply with the progress and envision and intended from the outset. We're gonna play fast. I'm sure you hear most say that, but we're gonna pressure from the cafeteria to the kitchen to the bathroom, and get back on the bus. Hopefully you think you played against 9 people at a time, not including the officials. But we're excited about the possibility, and we're real geared up emotionally, mentally, psychologically to make this run at trying to be our very best.
Second follow-up question I have is about some players. Garrett Hicks, do you have him back? I believe he's still on the roster. And then maybe talk about a couple of pieces that you've added to the team.
I'm talking about Garrett. That's my Steph Curry. I want everybody to think.
I got you.
No, we're excited about the possibilities. Hopefully, we have enough pieces to complement him, despite getting at it so late, where they can't just target him defensively. They're gonna have the game plan for more than just Garrett, which will free him up, which is a dangerous thing for other teams. To have him now, be everything that he can be. I mean, he shot 36%, and every game plan was targeted for him. How do you do that from 3-point line? That's pretty impressive. But what it did is it gave him some exponential OJT to be center stage for that kind of freedom. And it's going to be fun to watch. I'm really excited to see what the Lord does on that young man's behalf.
Rox, do I have one chance to ask one follow-up question?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Want to ask about the new arena. What are your thoughts in terms of the new arena? I'm sure that's exciting. Previously played in the arena there that was successful for a lot of the Bulldog programs over the year, but now it's a new day in terms of the arena. Talk about how that will help you, the program, and just your general thoughts on the arena after seeing it.
Well, for facilities is always imperative in trying to mobilize interest and commandeer, public trust. Nevertheless, you come into the Elmo spot, it's a tough place to win. And yeah, it's really tough. I was at Southern, man, I tell you, woo, you got off the hill, boy, you went woo-saw. You were glad to go. However, we're hoping that the arena that we have now not only, generates excitement and helps our recruiting base, but in tandem with being able to supersize the experience from Elmore to the event center, man, hopefully that'll be a great, great, great transformation. And we're looking forward to being part of that process.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this season. Welcome to the SWAC. Thank
you, Dr. Kenyatta. I appreciate your questions.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and the fellas are well. Can you talk a little bit about your background includes, you spent time at Southern, you also spent some time in the NBA, Golden State, and also Sacramento, international ball, Nigeria, Chinese Taipei, but just talk a little bit about guys from the HBCU experience that want to get to the next level and play in the NBA and what you see from a talent base.
Well, from a talent base, being a scout for 4 years, well, really 5 years, and being able to collect and garner information, take it to the war room for those in the power structure to make hard decisions on who to draft, which is real tough. We have more talent than given credit for, not just as coaches, but as players. Players are not as far off as they think. You got to have a big reinvestment in their bodies, their approaches, professional, in nutrition, sleep, and rest, and just continuing to work toward making it their full-time job to become the best version of themselves, and then take a swing for the fence. We have some here I know internationally would be very, very interested in. I just think the relationships abroad haven't caught up with the SWAC yet, and in the way it deserves to be. And I hope to help in that process, having experience on 5 continents and not even having to call, in Asia. I can call ownership, coaches I've gotten to know through the years from several different places. And man, I'll be more than happy to help any of the coaches and any of the players help their kids get to that next level. They don't have to come through me. I would, connect them with those guys and let them do it for their own players. Because after all, at the end of the day, man, we're standing in the gap for these kids as those before us did for us. And if we can do whatever we can to get them to those opportunities and defend their families for the long haul, then man, let's do that. Because I think at the end of the hour, when we're all judged, it'll be about what we gave, not what we got.
Coach Hughley, you just alluded to it, but just talk about pouring into these gentlemen and giving them some ingredients, if you will, they can use in life, on the basketball court, and as they get an education and just walk through life.
Well, you give kids what they need in the context of what they think they want. What they need is to be armed with the requisite skill set to become unbelievable fathers, great husbands, productive community members. And you use basketball as a vehicle to get their attention so you can really tell them what they really need to hear, not what they want to hear. And, being armed and equipped with an education in tandem with, social and emotional skill set to manage that economy going forward, to take care of your families, people you love the most, man, that's where I talk. That's where we as a program, we want to teach these kids to maybe save a percentage of their financial aid, $2,000 a year, not spend it all on this and that, making Cadillac the number one. I mean, just you want to make sure in 4 years, if they get a certain amount of financial aid, they can save a percentage of it and maybe graduate with $8,000 in their pocket, help them purchase $1 million life insurance policy. So now kids are not graduating with debt, they get graduating with a little head start. Teach them financial literacy, emotional stability, and arm these young men and let them know that they come from royalty, they come from a lineage of greatness, they come from where the world began. And I'm hoping that we can use this game called basketball that we love so much, to really sow seeds, man, that have staying power for the ages.
Thank you, sir. Congratulations on all of your success, and I look forward to seeing you this season.
Thank you.
Coach Hughley, we sincerely appreciate your time and good luck this season.
Sorry for taking so long. Sorry for technical difficulty. Thank you, guys.
No problem. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Next up, so happy to be joined by Coach Landon Bussie with Alcorn State. Coach, first and foremost, thank you for your patience. I know we're several minutes behind your initially scheduled, so we do appreciate your patience. And good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. No problem at all.
Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement previewing the 2022-2023 edition of the Alcorn State Braves.
Got a lot of returners. I was grateful to have the opportunity to only have one guy enter the transfer portal. So I have a group of guys coming back that've been through the battle, they got some experience under their belt, and is looking forward to having another successful season.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We're now going to open it up for questions for Coach Bussie. First question goes to Charles Hallman.
Good afternoon, Coach. How are you?
Good afternoon.
Charles, Minnesota's supposed to be quarter. I'm asking you, I know it's too early, but I'm hoping that you can share with us. You'll be playing Minnesota, who I think is one of the only schools that's on your schedule that's not an HBCU that has a black head coach. And I'd just like you to speak a little bit about just that, just being able to coach against another black coach in a Power 5 conference, and how important, or maybe not as important, that could be highlighted. We're going to highlight in our newspaper.
It's important just to be coaching against another African-American. Get out there and two head coaches on that. I do also know Wichita State have a African-American head coach, but it's definitely important, especially, where we are now in the HBCU, trying to promote HBCU basketball. So having an opportunity to compete, and my guys get out there and compete against another black coaches, grateful for the opportunity. Just to be on that sideline, great for the opportunity to coach against anybody, but it's definitely special when you're coaching against another African-American.
Thank you very much, Coach. Congratulations, and graduate from your new season coming up.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta, Dr. Ville's inside the HBC Sports Lab. Good afternoon, Coach Bussie.
Good afternoon.
I know it's a year later, but congratulations again on what you were able to accomplish with the championship in the regular season last year.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. Can you talk a little bit about your roster construction? I know you said you got a lot of folks coming back, but what does that mean in terms of players, minutes played? How does that look when you talk about the roster construction with the transfer portal, bringing kids in? Talk a little bit about some players that we can look forward to this season.
Definitely got a significant amount of transfers coming in. One is a guy by the name of Trevin Wade. Originally, he went to Wichita State and he transferred to East Kentucky. He's a very good on-ball defender, quick and explosive, athletic guard who can get downhill. My type of guard that I really like. I think he's going to be key to us having some success this year. And we got a transfer from Prairie, Jeremiah Kendall, 6'6", 6'7", was at Tallahassee prior to Prairie View. Skilled post players, able to score the ball at a high level, rebound it. They got another transfer from McNeese, Sean Walker. Redshirt last year at McNeese, 6'7", 6'8", big, strong, physical guy, able to score the ball on the block. He's going to be huge for us this upcoming season. I mean, he's a guy we get the ball to on the block. He's able to go get a basket or facilitate and get guys involved as well. So he's very skilled, have a high level IQ. Then we got another transfer from Jackson State, Daryl Jordan, 6'7" post player, plays hard, athletic, physical, bruiser type of guy. We also brought in a freshman by the name of Willie Anderson from out of New Orleans with George Carver. Plays a combo guard, tough, athletic, can score at a high level, competes at a very high level. And then, of course, we got returners who were with me last year, returners who are able to understand about what's going on, understand about the SWAC, understand that every single game you got to come out and compete at a very high level in the SWAC, no matter who you're playing against. I think the competition level, I think the coaches have took it up to another level. So it's important for us to, every single day, no matter who we playing, if it's one of the bottom teams in the league or the top team in the league, any given day you can be beat. So, just the preparation and the focus of our returners. Hopefully, I got some seniors and returners who understand what's at stake, understand that, maintaining consistency. That's our biggest thing is right now is maintaining consistency to have a chance to have a successful season as well.
One follow-up question I have for you in terms of style of play. I know you coach and you expect your players to play at a high level of intensity, tenacity. Is that something that we can continue to expect? And does this roster allow for that? Or will you have a different style of play coming into this season based on the roster turn?
No, we're going to keep it the same. We're going to be a physical brand of basketball. We're going to focus on defensive end. We're going to pride ourselves on defensive end. We're going to be tough, physical, get up, and try to really disrupt things. But one thing that we want to, focus on this year is creating second chance points on offense rebounds. So there's a few things that we're going to adjust. Hopefully this time we're able to get over the hump, just going back and watching the film and things like that. But as far as our brand of basketball, as far as the intensity and the efforts we're going to make on the defensive end, I want to turn it up a little bit. I want the notch to go up to another level. I think we did an okay job of it last year, but this year, being that I got guys who have been with me now 3 years now. So they know my expectations. They know the standard. They know what's at stake. They know how big this year is for us.
Thank you, Coach Bussie. Good luck this year. Look forward to the season.
Thank you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach Bussie, congratulations on the Coach of the Year. And also, I want to wish you and all the guys on the reservation well. Just talk a little bit about your basketball program and defending your championship as people will be looking at you guys, because right now you guys are king of the hill.
I think that last year, I think we caught a lot of people by shock and surprise. So when you coming down here to the reservation and we on the road, you might have overlooked that. Let's, we're going to win this game, whatever the case may be. So we caught a few people slipping. But this year, I think we got a target on our back that, people understand that Alcorn basketball might be bad. And so when we are preparation, going into any school we're going to play now, it's going to be a little different. The focus is going to be there from the players. The focus is going to be there from the coaching staff. So we got to just make sure that our preparation is just meet the same standard, because now we got a target on our back. They know that, okay, this team right here, they're going to come in, they're going to compete, they're going to play hard, and they're trying to win the basketball game. So it's different from being, going out hunting. Now you're being hunted. So the biggest things right now is we got to still continue to hunt. We got to go hunt. We can't let people come up behind us and shock us. We got to go do the hunt, and we got to be able to finish jobs, and we got to go secure each game. And how we're going to do that is going to start in practice. I try to make my practices physical, branded basketball. I want my practice to be harder than the games. My practice is harder than the games. Once we get to the games, it should be easy for us.
Coach, the concept of NIL, it's been talked about in recent times, but can you relate that to men's college basketball and what that looks like, and what that looks like for young men who are looking for opportunities so far?
None of my student athletes, from what I know, have any NIL deals. So it haven't really affected us yet, or maybe it did affect us. My young men, they don't really bring it up. They don't mention it, or whatever the case may be. But I do think it's good. I think it's good for, young men to be able to put some money in their pocket. You don't want these young men being able to not be able to pay their phone bill or not be able to eat at night, or gas, whatever the case may be. Some of these young men, they come from a rough background, and they come from where it's low resources, and where they can't call back home and ask their mom to put $40 in their bank account, or whatever the case may be. So it's good for them to have the opportunity to be able to get money that they can spend for just the things that they need throughout the daily life.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed season.
Thank you.
We've got time for a few more questions for Coach Landon Bussie with Alcorn State. Any final questions for Coach? Coaches, we sincerely appreciate your time and good luck this season.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Maybe 2 minutes ahead of schedule now for Coach McCullum with Florida A&M. So we will pause here momentarily and we will be back. Thank you for your patience. Just a quick note to all of our media participants, the women's basketball in the conference virtual media day will take place tomorrow, same time, beginning at 12 o'clock with Alabama A&M, followed all the way down to Arkansas Pine Bluff. So the women's basketball virtual media day tomorrow, right here via Zoom. If you have any issues with the link, did not receive it, please feel free to email a.roberts@swac.org. Once again, that's a.roberts@swac.org. And we appreciate your participation in our media day sessions. Thank you for your patience. We'll be back momentarily. Just a quick announcement, the Southwestern and the Pac-12 will debut the Pac-12 SWAC Legacy Series, which is an educational and basketball scheduling partnership between the two collegiate athletics conferences that will tip off during the 2022-23 season. This first-of-the-kind agreement between the Autonomy 5 and HBCU leagues was announced last September, with its aim at creating both a forum for competition as well as the promotion and education around issues of anti-racism and social justice. To view the full release, please visit us online at www.swac.org. Highlighting some of the matchups this year, a part of the series. Monday, November 7th, Florida A&M will travel to face the Oregon Ducks. Thursday, November 10th, Alabama State will be at USC. Friday, November 11th, Southern at Arizona. Friday, November 11th, Colorado at Grambling State. Sunday, November 13th, Arizona State at Texas Southern. And Tuesday, November 15th, Washington State at Prairie A&M. Just a quick reminder, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature here on Zoom to get your question in the queue for our head coaches. Please limit your questions to 2 questions, potentially 1 initial question and a follow-up question. If time allows, we will circle back to get additional questions answered by our head coaches. The schedule is printed. Next, we'll be joined by Florida A&M head coach Robert McCullum, followed by Grambling State head coach Donte Jackson, followed by Jackson State head coach Mo Williams, followed by Mississippi Valley State head coach George Ivory. Rounding out the bottom 4 of our coaches to have availability today, it'll be Byron Smith with Prairie View A&M, Sean Woods with Southern, Johnny Jones with Texas Southern, and Solomon Bozeman with Arkansas Pine Bluff. For any of our media that are in need for additional time with our head coaches, please feel free to contact the respective sports information directors on campus to arrange additional interview time. With that being said, so happy to be joined by Florida A&M head coach Robert McCullum. Good afternoon, Coach.
How are you?
Doing great, Coach, and thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. We know it's a busy time of year as you get your team prepared for the upcoming season. But, Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement previewing the 2022-2023 edition of the Florida A&M Rattlers.
Well, anytime you get started for a new season, it's always a time of optimism and excitement. And so still, it's nothing like the first day of classes in the fall. It's nothing like the first day of official practice, which was yesterday for us. So we open up, we're excited, we're optimistic, even given the challenges we have of trying to bring 9 new players into the fold. And we know the challenges that lie ahead, non-conference, as well as another exciting, challenging SWAC season.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. We're now going to open it up for questions. And the first question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta, Dr. Ville's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good afternoon, Coach McCullum.
Good afternoon.
I want to talk a little bit about the absence of player of the year. He's moved on. In terms of your scoring, in terms of what that looks like, is that going to be a player that you're seeking to step up, or will you think you can get to scoring for multiple players?
I think more realistically, multiple players. And as you know, each team is different. This will be perhaps the most inexperienced team that we've had since my first year here, the 17-18 season. So, yeah, you look forward to each year from a standpoint, from a coach's standpoint, of just trying to figure out what does each team have to do to be successful offensively and defensively. And so we won't have a player the magnitude of MJ Randolph. He chose to pursue the professional route, but yet we will be more of a team that would do it more by committee. We're capable of having 4 or 5 guys that will average double figures, as opposed to being able to rely on a guy that we can say right now he's going to give us 15 or the 18 a game that MJ Randolph gave us.
Thank you. In terms of that, a little more about your roster. Can you talk about some of the guys coming back that you're expecting to play big minutes versus some of those that came in to the team that you're looking forward to add to the mix?
Well, most of the prominent roles, those guys that we'll look to count on would be newcomers. So via the JUCO route or the transfer route. And well, first name I'd like to talk about is Byron Smith. Byron is a junior college transfer from right here in town at Tallahassee Community College. He played in high school at PK Young in Gainesville, and then played 2 years at Southeastern Louisiana. And his Division I experience really shows. It shows from his poise, his patience. He didn't get sped up very easily. And he was an all-conference player. You make all-conference in the league with Tallahassee Community College, Northwest, Chipola, Pensacola. That's pretty impressive. And I might add that Northwest was the national JUCO champions for the 21-22 season. So Byron will play both the point guard spot, the off guard spot, and he's a guy that we'll lean on heavily for scoring and ball handling right off the bat. Then there's Jalen Bates, who's probably 6'5.5", about 210, extremely explosive player. He comes to us from Gaston Junior College in North Carolina, a startup, a new program that I think Leonard Hamilton sort of put that program on the map. Shortly after he left there, they sort of broke the mold. They closed it down. I mean, literally for 50 years. Oh, wow. And so he played there after leaving St. Pete JC, and just athleticism. And he'll defensively, athletically, he'll remind a lot of our followers of Bryce Moraine in terms of that 6'5", 6'6" range. He's 210, and he's just extremely athletic. So he'll be counted on for a lot of scoring, a lot of athleticism, which will be displayed on both ends of the floor. So those are 2 guys right off the bat. And a big difference in this team would be our size. We'd be more athletic and bigger, particularly at the wing spots.
Thank you, Coach. I'd like to ask one follow-up question. I will let my colleague jump in here if the time allows. I'll see if I can jump back in.
Sure. Okay.
Question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody on the highest of 7 hills are well. Life without MJ as he moves forward. Just talk about the NBA and guys have an opportunity to play from HBCUs. We've watched Earl DePearl, we've watched Marvin Webster, a lot of guys who have come through, Ben Wallace, if you will. Just talk about HBCU guys getting an opportunity to play at the highest level.
Well, I'll very good question, James, and I'll add one a former or forever Rattler, Clement Johnson, who actually played on the World Championship Philadelphia 76ers team, I think, and they won it in '83. And so, it's an area that we still, from a recognition standpoint, that we're still fighting. We talk to our players about this message, that if you can play, they'll find you, whether you attend an HBCU or not. And sometimes that message it's difficult to resonate with players because so often they're told by others that you have to play at a Power 5 conference, so you have to play in this conference or that conference to be seen. So our response is, if the NBA teams will go to Asia, to Africa, literally all over the world, to find players it should not be difficult to accept the fact that they'll discover you at HBCU. And it was really rewarding in Chicago at the G League Combine. Literally. Sorry, they were running a fire drill. It was just a test. Sorry about that. But in Chicago at the G League Combine and the NBA pre-draft camp, there were 3 players from HBCUs. I was MJ Randolph, and the outstanding rebounder center from Texas Southern, along with the player from Howard University. So it really made us feel good to have three players from HBCUs at that event in Chicago. And I think you're going to see more and more of that in years to come. And again, it can become a great recruiting tool, as well as just great opportunities for each individual player, each individual school that's represented.
Coach, in closing, the NIL concept and the transfer portal. In years previous, the transfer portal, guys would have to sit out and that sort of thing. But just talk a little bit about that COVID waiver, and I know we're moving forward, but the transfer portal and what that looks like, and guys have opportunities in NIL.
Well, you touched on 2 huge issues, and quite frankly, here, the NIL situation, we really haven't scratched that surface very much, and hopefully that would change. Because we want our student athletes to have as many opportunities as possible. From a transfer portal standpoint, you may recall here just recently, the last month, the NCAA passed new legislation, just whereby they've created windows. So in other words, players will have to make a decision in a shorter period of time. And so that will help coaches, that will help programs, just in terms of having smaller windows to make those decisions about transferring. They'll still have those opportunities to transfer and play immediately, but the windows for opportunities would be smaller. We have 2 players on this year's team. We have a transfer from Lamar and one from Brown University. And I think it's safe to say, going forward, like most schools, we'll continue to look at transfer players for opportunities to come in and hopefully help right away.
Thank you, sir. Have a great season. We look forward to covering you once again.
Thanks so much, James.
Coach, we sincerely appreciate your time, and good luck this season.
I think our previous caller had another question, I think.
Okay, sure. We can get one more question in. Dr. Cavill?
Thank you. I'll keep it quick. When you look at conference expansion, you get the benefit of what that brings to the table, but you also have in basketball, you have the difference of scheduling format where you don't necessarily play team twice. Last year, Texas teams came to you. This year, you come to Texas. Talk about how that works, or your anticipation of going to an arena that you hadn't experienced from the previous season.
Well, for me, just given, I guess, my background, some of the schools I've been at in the past, it's very common. And so right now it sort of sticks out just because, along with Bethune-Cookman, we're new to the conference. And so we didn't make that Texas swing last year. But way back when the SEC initially added South Carolina and Arkansas, I was an assistant at Florida at the time. And so we played a very similar format where you played some teams twice, other teams you played on the west side, and we were on the east, you only played once. even at South Florida in the Big East, in Conference USA, Western Michigan, the MAC conference. So I'm very familiar with that concept. And so going to Prairie View and Texas Southern this first time around, it'll be, you have those challenges, and they faced those challenges when they came here for the first time this year. So, but after the 22-23 season, we would have gone to every venue in the SWAC. And so we'll have that behind us, and then we won't have to deal with that newness anymore. But until then, we'll just try and prepare ourselves as best we can for the challenges that we know we'll face at Prairie View and Texas Southern.
Thank you for that perspective, Coach. Good luck this.
Thank you so much.
Coach, again, thank you for your time and good luck this season.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Okay. Next up, we're going to be joined by Grambling State head coach Donte Jackson. I do see Coach Jackson with us. Good afternoon, Coach.
Good afternoon.
Coach, first and foremost, thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. We know it's a busy time of year as you all prepare for your upcoming season. So, Coach, if you would start us out with an opening statement previewing the 2022-2023 edition of the Grambling State Tigers.
It's the one thing about our team, we have some familiarity and we have some new guys. Good thing is we're returning 9 guys that was either a part of the program or redshirted last year. So as any season, a lot of excitement, a lot of optimism. And, it's going to be some challenges ahead because, of course, we're going to play a tough schedule. And then night in, night out in the SWAC, you got to bring it. It's a tough game every night.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach Jackson. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab.
How you doing today?
Coach? I'm doing well.
That's good.
Thank you. No problem. Want to talk a little bit about Christian Cameron and what's your thoughts in terms of how he will lead the team in terms of scoring and some of the other guys that you're adding to the roster with him?
Well, Cameron Christian, what can I say, man? He decided to come back for that COVID year. Incredible young man, better person than a basketball player, and that's saying a lot. Cam's been one of the guys who come in, night out. He's one of the guys that you want to build your program around. He up early in the morning, getting shots up, never late to class, taking care of business, at night, in the weight room, coming back at night, getting shots up. I expect Cam to play a major part of what we do. He's been our lead scorer the last couple of years, and I expect him to be somewhere around there again. And then we have returning our point guard, Michael Moulton, which is big, to always have some continuity at the point guard, and returning Shondarius Coward. So to be able to return our basically backcourt at the 1, 2, and 3, kind of big for us. And then being able to add some bigs with John Akup, a transfer from Stephen F. Austin, Cartier Gordon, the transfer from St. Louis. I think it's going to be able to give us a good front court and back court mixture. And then late, we added 2 kids from my hometown, Terrence Lewis and Rashawn Cotton. And I think those would give us some help with the guard positions also.
Obviously, thank you for that, Coach. Obviously, the 2022 season is part of this Pac-12 SWAC Legacy Series matchup. While you have some teams that go out to the Pac-12, and over the years, that may be something that is happening in terms of scheduling needs. But this time, you also have some teams from the Pac-12 coming to SWAC teams. And in your case, you have Colorado coming into Grambling. Talk a little bit about that opportunity and that matchup and the excitement it may bring.
Listen, I want the place to be packed. I want it to feel like Southern. I want them to feel the full HBCU experience because, we get to go out there and we play those, we play the road games and we don't really get that return game. And it's finally a chance to get a major, Pac-12 or a Power 5, for lack of a better word, to travel to our campus. So I want them to feel the full experience. I want the fraternity stepping on the sideline. I want the cheerleaders ready to rock and roll. I want it going down. I want everybody having a good time. And, it's a great matchup for us, just an early season matchup to be at home. And just to be able to feel the environment early for a big-time home game.
Coach, you got me ready to make the road trip. You sold it. I like that. Thank you for that, Coach. Good luck this season.
Next question goes to Charles Hallman.
Good afternoon, Coach.
Good afternoon.
Charles Hallman for the Minnesota Sports Reporter. I'd like to follow up on Dr. Cavill's question because I'm also doing a story in a legacy series. How important that is that a Power 5 school or Power 5 conference is coming to a HBCU, because the reputation is that HBCU only go out to collect money from, at these schools as opposed to vice versa. So if you want to speak to me more on that, just in terms of not just experience, but just the fact that this will be a series that can continue for more than just this season.
Yes, well, I think it's just on the just on the legacy piece. I think it's important. I think it's important that, we be able to have these type of games to create environments and create ticket sales for our fans and be able to create different revenue opportunities for our institutions, because, being able to bring these bigger schools here, is more people, more eyes probably want to come to the game. So I'm excited about it. Of course, I think we drew a tough matchup in Colorado, but heck, what Pac-12 team ain't a tough matchup. But the good thing is being able to be on our home court. It's just extremely important, because we're always in the past on their home court. Now, we've had some big wins on the road, but the toughest thing to do in college basketball is to win on the road. So to be able to have that game at home is major.
Thank you, Coach, and good luck this season.
Thank you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and all the fellas are well. Can you talk a little bit about HBCU basketball, in particular Grambling State University and the SWAC? A lot of times we hear so much about HBCU football, but HBCU basketball is played at a high level. Can you just talk a little bit about HBCU basketball?
Well, I definitely can. For my time of coming into the league, the SWAC has been a really, really good brand of basketball, from having Coach Jones, Mike Davis, Sean Woods, just some really big time names. Now adding a guy like Coach Theus. I mean, night in, night out, your guys got to be prepared. And then you got young guys like myself and Coach, and why am I drawing a blank, right? Coach Bussie over at Alcorn. Like, you got some young guys in here that's really putting together some stuff that you got to prepare night in, night out. And for us, say for me, I'm a real HBCU guy. I started off at Central State, which is the HBCU, got a chance to go to Stillman, which is HBCU, now to get to Grambling. And the thing is, it's just like, just being a Grambling Tiger is a big thing, in my opinion, because I just feel like we have the best HBCU in the country, with the most world-renowned HBCU, and it's nothing like having that culture around your campus when you walk into Legacy.
Coach, talk a little bit about the opportunities for the players, the student athletes, to get to the next level and ultimately maybe play in the NBA. Guys have talent and they have the game, but talk about opportunities for them and what you see as a coach.
Well, I think the opportunities are coming. I think there's more guys deciding to come to HBCU that can play, that's having bigger dreams and bigger aspirations of playing at different levels. The one thing is we've had a lot of success. We've had almost 7 of our guys from my past 5 years of being here at Grambling playing overseas. And that's just big. When you can turn around and watch Excel Empoyo playing in Rwanda, and it's like, that's my guy. Or you watch him going to a NBA tryout and all that good stuff and hearing about it. That's what it's about. You want these kids to be able to live their dreams. And if that's the dream, that's what we got to do. We got to try to push it as much as we can.
Thank you, Coach Jackson. Have a great season.
Thank you.
Coach Jackson, we sincerely appreciate your time and good luck this season.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Have a blessed day, gentlemen.
Thank you. Next, we're going to go to Jackson State and Coach Mo Williams. I do see Coach is there with us. Good afternoon, Coach.
Can you hear me?
Absolutely. Good afternoon, Coach.
How you guys doing?
Doing great, Coach. And first and foremost, like we've told all our coaches, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. We know it's an extremely busy time of year as you get your team prepared for the upcoming season, so we definitely appreciate your time. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement previewing the 2022-2023 edition of the Jackson State Tigers?
Oh, absolutely. I got a great group of guys. Started working yesterday officially. We're pretty solid at every position. We have really good point guard play. They also long wings, which I like, 6'5", 6'6". And we have some forwards that can get it done, multiple positions inside out, long and athletic. I run a complex offense that these guys are picking up really well, that'll do well for us down the stretch of games. And we're aggressive defensive team where we make you score through us, not around us. And that's kind of our culture.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. Going to switch up the order of questions a tad bit. We're going to take our first question from Rob J.
All right. Thank you so much for taking my call and my question. Coach, first of all, welcome to Jackson State. I know you're from Jackson. How has the support been for you since you became the head coach?
What's going on, Rob? It's been tremendous, to say the least. Me being from here, me growing up, just being a Tiger, my mom and my dad both attended Jackson State. My brother attended Jackson State. I have a host of family members that has attended this university, and I just grew up around it. Just to answer your question, just coming back, just me going to the grocery store, me going to grab a bite to eat, just those interactions that I have with just people that not only know Mo, but you'll notice they know Peanut, so I go places, what's up, Peanut? It's a different feeling. It's a different environment. And it's a lot of support because it's a lot of excitement around our program. We've been a winning program for a long time, and I think they just on the edge right now of winning championships, just trying to get over the hump.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Coach. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta, Dr. Bill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Coach Williams, excuse me. I wouldn't dare go there with your nickname there. We don't know each other there yet like that, but excited to have you. Talk a little bit about the roster turnover that you had, moving from Alabama State. So your experience with the SWAC, you talked about the history in terms of your family, in terms of the historical perspective of the SWAC, but now you're back at home in a lot of ways with Jackson State. Talk a little bit about that roster, if you would.
Absolutely. We have a good group of guys, and we have 10 new players, that weren't on the team from last year, and one returning player that basically didn't play was Gabe Watson. He got hurt early in the year and missed the entire year. He might have played 4 or 5 games, and he's going to be really good for us and score the ball. Started off at Southern Miss, spent some time in Tulane. Now we're blessed with his talents here at Jackson State. And he's going to be really, really good for us. I can see him up for potential player of the year at the end of the year, that type of talent for us, and he can be really good for us. We have a good point guard that came from Salt Lake City Junior College. And if you're familiar with the junior college ranks, Salt Lake City was #1 JUCO in the country. And he was the leader of that team. Small point guard from Chicago and Chase Adams. Started off at the University of Portland with Terry Porter, a good friend of mine, was coaching over there. Left there and went to Salt Lake City, and he's just a winner. And any basketball team that you want to coach and you consider the winner, trust me, that team usually has good point guard play. So I'm excited about him. A big kid that we had come in from the West Coast. He was in the Big West last year at Long Beach. 6'9", long, athletic, Ramel Benzel. He's really good, and all these guys have a couple of years to play, so we're not getting them for 1 year. And I brought in Trace Young that was with me at Alabama State last year that had a good year for me. He's a senior, and he's one of the seniors, only seniors. Well, we have a couple of seniors that's going to play, but we're pretty young. Got a lot of guys coming back. And the sleeper in my group is Ken Evans that was on the team last year. Listen, he's a sophomore. He has a lot of potential. He don't know how good he is yet, and I'm looking forward to his growth. And he's going to be a major contributor for us this year. And we're deep. We got some guys that can come off the bench and give us good minutes. So I'm excited about, I know I sound like it, but I am. I'm excited about the group that we have. I don't like to play fast, but I like to play quick. And, I like to make teams score through us, not around us. And you rebound the ball at a high clip, those type of things, and not turn the ball over. If you take care of those 4 things, I think you got a chance to be in or win every single game that you play.
Can follow-up question and go a little deeper in terms of their style of play? You had one in Alabama State. Are you going to play similarly at Jackson State, or because of this roster construction that you have, will it be different, as you alluded, not playing fast, playing quick with some pace?
Well,
talk a little bit more about what that looks like.
Well, that's the beauty of recruiting, right? You want to recruit guys that fit your style, and that's what we went out.
Yes, sir.
Get guys that can fit our style. We run a complex offense, so we have to recruit guys that has a basketball IQ, that can remember things, that can execute things. But we like guys that can get up and down the floor and run, because like I said, we don't like to walk the ball up the floor. We don't do those type of things. We like to get it and go. So we need guys that can obviously play fast. And when I say fast, I mean quick. And I use fast as a word, but I mean quick. You don't want to be too fast when you can't think and play. If you're quick, you can always react. So for us, it's about executing down the stretch. We harp on executing down the stretch, and I use this analogy to my guys all the time. A basic offense that you run, you're probably going to, in a game, you're going to run offense maybe 15 to 20% of the time. Outside of that, it's rebound outlet, you in fast break action, broken plays here and there. You got to make some out of nothing, or you just got to read and react. But typically down the stretch, 5 minutes to go, 6 minutes to go, you got to be able to execute. You got to be able to not turn the ball over. You got to be able to set great screens. You got to be able to come off pin downs. You got to be able to set your man up on a pick and roll and hit the man on the roll. And defensively, you got to be really, really sound. So we spent a lot of time on really being able to execute, being able to know where you're supposed to be in different spots. But the great line in there is being able to just play basketball and not be robots.
Thank you, Coach Wood. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next question goes to James.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody at JSU are well. NBA players from the HBCU experience. If you take Jackson State, we see you as a coach. You see Lindsey Hunter as a player. You won a world championship, and you've also coached. Talk a little bit about HBCU players, and they want to eat. They want to play at the highest level. They want to play in the NBA. What are you seeing from the talent base?
Oh, the talent is there. We just don't get enough eyes on these guys. We don't do the per se of getting their information out, if I would say so. But we have the talent. I think that, for us, and we're moving in that direction. It's basically just the visibility. I'm one of 12, meaning one of 12 men that lead our programs, and we all have players on our team that can go make some money playing this game. And this lack thereof, for the most part, lack of agents, that's being committed to coming to get players in our conference and really working hard for them and get them in that position. I think we get it misconstrued on just the talent. The talent is here. We have guys that can go, for lack of better words, to the NBA, right? But it's a lot of things that go into being a top 60 pick, meaning 30 in the first, 30 in the second. A lot goes into that. That's the political side of things, who represents you, right? What relationship that type of agent have with teams. A lot of things go into a kid being drafted, and where we fall short in our league is those particular agents that does have a direct line to a GM per se. Those agents are not getting SWAC players, right? We're getting agents, and maybe it's an agent that's on the come up or don't have as many high profile players. And I think we fall into that realm of talent. And you see a lot of our guys, go overseas and get their opportunities in that aspect, because a lot of the agents specialize in overseas contracts. Their contacts is overseas. So to answer your question, I just think it's more so of everybody around our talent, far as the agents, far as the conference as a whole, just getting those guys, having those guys be more visible in the aspect of pro scouts and things like that, and getting pro teams to come watch practice and get them to attend games. I think that's the carry out of it. I can only think of a couple teams that I know personally that reach out to me on a regular basis about our league, and Miami Heat is one of them. That's why you see their culture, the way that they run their program in the NBA, is not like an NBA program. It's more like a college atmosphere.
Coach Williams, last time we talked, you were guiding the Hornets. Now you're back home, and you alluded to it, but just talk a little bit about being back, the comfort level, being familiar with everything, and it's got to be full circle. But what's it been like so far, and moving forward to coach this team?
It's definitely full circle. I definitely enjoyed my time at Alabama State the last couple of years. We did some good things there, but like I said, this was a great opportunity for me, myself, my family, everybody that's involved. So at the end of the day, I'm excited, with this opportunity, but I know what comes with it also, right? People love you until you don't win, so my goal is to get these guys prepared mentally. I always speak of mindset. That's on our shirt every day we practice, mindset. And I think a mindset you got to have on a daily basis is a championship mindset. And what I mean by having a championship mindset, if you have a championship mindset about everything you do, I don't have to worry about you going to class. I don't have to worry about you getting back on defense. I don't worry about you diving on the floor. I don't have to worry about you at a party and worrying about what you're going to do or what you're going to put in your body. Because if you have a championship mindset, that doesn't turn off.
Thank you, Coach. Have a blessed season.
Thank you.
Coach Williams, we sincerely appreciate your time and good luck this season.
I appreciate you guys.
Thank you. Next up, we will go to Mississippi Valley State with Coach George Ivory. I do see Coach is there with us. Good afternoon, Coach.
How you doing, Mr. Roberts?
Doing great. Just a quick announcement. We are a few minutes behind schedule, so all of our coaches that are in queue, we do appreciate your patience. With that being said, happy to be joined by Mississippi Valley State head coach George Ivory. Good afternoon, Coach.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
Doing great, Coach. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement previewing the 2022-2023 edition of the Mississippi Valley State Delta Devils.
Yes, sir. Just think that you'll see a very exciting brand of basketball here at Mississippi Valley State this year. We have some great young men has came in this program and some that has stayed here. We have a lot of tradition here at Mississippi Valley for its basketball. Might not have seemed like that the last couple of years, but we've had some great basketball teams. That's what we're trying to build right now. Not only basketball, but a great academic background for these young men as well.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach Ivory. We're now open up for questions. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta, Dr. Cavill's Inside TV Sports Lab.
Yes,
Good afternoon,
sir.
Coach Ivory.
How you doing?
I'm doing. You talked a little bit about obviously your connection with Valley State previously at Pine Bluff. Talk about the changeover, things that move forward thus far with you getting back into a head coach.
Well, it was a great chance for me to get back. I graduated from Mississippi Valley State to come back home and get a chance to rebuild a program that we started here at Mississippi Valley State under Lafayette Stribling. And it's a great opportunity for me.
Thank you, Coach. Can you talk a little bit about the roster? You alluded to some kids stayed around with you. Can you go a little deeper and talk about some players that we can look forward to this year?
Terry Collins will be one. We have 6 guys that's coming back. Terry Collins is a guy that really can score the basketball, 6'3" guard. We have Daniel Umo, about 6'9", 6'10". JJ, we call him JJ. He's coming back. Kadar Waller. We have 8 newcomers along with those 6 returners that we think that will help our team very much. Went the JUCO route. We got a lot of 8 JUCO kids coming in, so got a couple transfers, graduate transfers coming in. So we tried to build a mixture of older guys with our rosters this upcoming year. So we're very pleased and very excited about these young men. I think they're gonna do. They come in, they're working very hard right now. We hope they continue to be their mindset to continue to work hard, but I'm very proud of these guys, so far class-wise, they're doing what we ask them to do, and that's all you can ask right now.
Thank you, Coach Ivory. Good luck this season.
Thank you very much.
We're going to change up the order of questions just a tad bit. Next question will be from IC Morrell.
Coach Ivory, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing, IC?
Oh, good to see you, sir. Look, I know when you left UAPB, you wanted to take a break, and now here you are back at Valley. You were able to coach a few games last year. How did coaching those last few games help you get back into the groove?
Well, it was real quick. A day challenge to start preparing for a game. We had to go to a game the next day. So it was a quick turnaround, and working with those young men those 3 days was really, really good to get back into the move of coaching, and trying to learn a new team that quick was really, really tough. But like I said, I got a great group of guys, and the administration was very supportive in just those 3 games. We're trying to get us over the hump those 3 games.
For all that you've been associated with UAPB and what you achieved there, did you ever think, being a graduate of Mississippi Valley, I may have one more stop there and it could be at my alma mater? Did that ever cross your mind?
Well, in a sense, you always want to go back home sometime and coach where you started playing ball and got your degree from. So it always has crossed my mind over the years every time the job came open. But like I said, UAPB was a great situation, and I love the people in Pine Bluff, and I thought the administration in Pine Bluff was tremendous, and the city itself. So it was hard to leave, but it was just a chance for me to get back home as a director of alumni relations here in Mississippi at Valley, and just try to start working toward my retirement. I had so many years in Mississippi as well, and that was my plan, to just get back home and start working on retirement.
Understood. Hey, thanks a lot, Coach.
Thank you, IC.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach Ivory, I hope you're well. A long time no see and talk to. Back in the days at Valley, Coach Strib, yourself, and the guys, but just talk a little bit about what it's like this time around to be back home, so to speak, at the Valley and guide this next.
It's a great opportunity. It feels good when you know the environment. You've been around the environment all your life. You see your friends and classmates that's working at the university and in the area that's really excited about trying to get basketball back the way it used to be. And it feels good to sit in the seat that Coach Stribling had, and to follow a great person like Coach Stribling, over the years that taught me. It feels really good.
Coach, the opportunity for NIL and the transfer portal and even JUCOs, just talk a little bit about those opportunities and what that's like so far.
Well, I think the NIL is really great for these young men because, you see here and look at how we go out and we play all these money games, and, these young men hardly get something. But I think that's a great opportunity for those young men Could you imagine Jerry Rice coming out of college with the NIL? They've been great. So the transfer portal has been good to a lot of people. You see teams getting better real quick through the transfer portal. So I think that's wonderful as well. And we, like I said, we took the JUCO route this time. We did get a couple graduate transfers, but I think all of it together is really improving college basketball. You'll see surprise teams like you saw St. Peter's last year playing the NCAA tournament, or Roberts a year or two ago, and Texas Southern. I just mentioned Texas Southern in our conference, how that has really helped them a whole lot too over the years.
Thank you, sir. Have a great season.
Same to you. Thank you very much.
Coach Ivory, we sincerely appreciate your time and good luck this season.
All right. Thank you all. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Next, we'll be joined by Prairie View A&M Coach Byron Smith. Coach, thank you so much for your patience.
You're welcome.
Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement previewing the 2022-2023 edition of the Prairie View A&M Panthers.
Look forward to a strong, solid year, a program, a few guys returning, a host of new guys. So we'll kind of have a new roster, same philosophy, and then hopefully we will kind of get this thing back on track. Had a little bit of a down year last year, but hopefully we can get it back on track and get back to where we were a couple of years ago.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach Smith. First question goes to Charles Hallman.
Good afternoon, Coach. How are you?
Doing well, yourself?
Doing fine. Charles Hallman, Minnesota Sports Recorder. Today, the SWAC office announced that the Pac-12 SWAC Legacy Series is going to be starting up, and you're going to be hosting one of those things. Can you just talk about that? Because oftentimes when you HBCU, you play at a Power 5 school. This time a Power 5 school is coming to you. Can you just talk about that a little bit, please?
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, like you said, we usually travel all around the country and play some of the better programs in the country. But to even host a game like this is this magnitude, really excited about that. Washington State, we played them a couple of years ago out there. It was a pretty competitive game. Expected to be the same thing this year. November 15th is the date. Kyle Smith, the head coach there at Washington State, he's a native Houstonian. I think he does a great job with his program. Really excited to have, I've known him for a long time, really excited to have an opportunity to compete against him. I think it'll be a great challenge. I think it'll be good for our conference. I think it's a great area, obviously, great at Houston. The game will be played here, like I say, on our campus. So really excited about it. I think both sides can benefit. Be a great challenge for us is kind of get an early idea as to where we are as a program. And I think it'll be a really good challenge for Washington State to kind of start the season off, with a really solid program like Prairie. So I think it's great. I think it's great for college basketball and really excited to get the opportunity to play against them.
Thank you, Coach, and good luck on your season.
Thank you, Charles.
Next, we'll take a question from Jason Bristol.
Hi, Byron. Good to see you.
Hey, good to see you.
When you look back at last year, and you mentioned that it was a down year, was there one or two things that you could point to that was kind of snowballed or the reason why you went through the struggles, the team went through the struggles it did?
Jason, I think it's a combination of things. Obviously, scheduling was a tough deal for us. Non-conference was really tough. We played 6 games in 8 days, which probably was a mistake on my part. Sometimes you kind of beat your chest and think you're Superman and think that you can accomplish some things. It's a nice challenge for us, and we prepared to be able to do it. It was just not being able to make the schedule work in terms of dates and proximity, wanting to play some games in Texas. It just didn't work out. So we had to take what was offered to us. Also, we had some forfeitures with COVID. So it was just a combination of things. Guys not sure if we're going to play and had injuries. So I think it was a myriad of things that happened for us last year, but no excuse. We wear it, we accept it. But now we're here and ready to correct it and to try to get back to our winning ways, and to be a solid program in our conference and a solid mid-major program around the country.
The kids that are back, do you get that sense that they're more determined because of what happened last year?
I think so. Obviously we had a nice string of success, winning the conference 3 years in a row, 18, 19, 19, 20, 20, 21. So we got used to, being, a pretty good program. So to be off a little bit, I think that's the challenge, to try to get back and, be in the top 4 or 5, of the league, have a chance to do well in the conference tournament, maybe have a chance for postseason play. So definitely some challenges. They feel challenged, and the guys that we've recruited to come in, I think they feel challenged because most of those young people have transferred in something to prove, a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. So I think with the kind of season that we had last year with our returning guys and the new guys that are coming in, I think there's a single-minded focus and a oneness that we've developed from the summer and throughout the early fall practice. So we feel really good about going into the season and think that we can get some good things accomplished as a group this year.
Thank you.
My pleasure, Jason.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta with Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Coach Smith, how you doing this afternoon?
Doing well, my dear friend. How are you?
Doing well. It's good to be with you and hear the excitement that you have in regards to the season with the expectations that you bring to the table. I know you have the natural attrition of the team in terms of graduation at times, just the way college goes. But at the end of the season last year, you talked about the fact that you wanted to get back with the style and players that are accustomed to be able to practice and play the style that you want to play. Can you talk a little bit more about the roster, turn over some names that we can consider about looking to see this season?
I think obviously we start with Will Douglas, who was a solid player for us last year. He was inconsistent, but at times, he really, I thought he was one of the better wings in our league. He's back. Had a great summer, had a chance to spend time in Memphis, where he's from, and got a chance to go over and work out a little bit with the Grizzlies. And I think he, like all of them, when they work out with the NBA guys, they was able to make a few shots and go up against Dylan Brooks and John Morant and all those guys. So I think he's feeling pretty good about himself coming back. I just tell him, hey, it is summer basketball, and those guys, don't get too excited. But just the confidence that he came back with, got in better shape, dropped a little bit of weight, which he really didn't need to, but I think just working hard, 2 or 3 times a day from what his dad was telling me. So he's gotten himself in better shape. So he's back, a lot of experience. Obviously, he was a grad transfer from SMU. Jeremiah Gambrell was a third-year guy that's returning that really had a off year. I won't say down. You had an off year last year because he had to move over because we were, devoid of a point guard. So Jeremiah is a shooter, one of the better shooters in the conference, I think. But obviously he had to move over and play a different position. So I thought his individual stats suffered a bit because he was trying to, facilitate our offense. Brian Miles is a young 6'7". He'll be a sophomore. He was a freshman last year that kind of came on late for us and emerged, and thought he did a really good job late. And I thought he had a pretty good summer. Could have worked a little bit harder, but he had a solid summer. But he's been pretty good so far in our workouts. He's a returner. And just a host of transfers. Jacorian Smith, Troy, 6'5" wing guy, can really shoot the basketball, can really defend. Trajan Wesley, he's a Houston kid, Cypress kid from South Falls, transfer from Louisiana. He's here now. Our big guy from Monmouth University, Nikkei Ruddy, kind of forgot. He's been injured a little bit, hadn't practiced for the past week, so I kind of forgot about him. But big body guy, 6'9", 230. He's going to come in and give us, I think, an inside presence that we've lacked in the past. We usually play the 6'6", 6'7" guy on the inside with quickness, but having a big traditional post guy that can defend the rim and rebound, we can throw the ball into and get some baskets. I think that's going to give us a good inside-outside balance. So got some returning guys, got some new guys, but really pleased with the mixture. And the biggest thing, Dr. Cavill, is that they really seem to get along and they work well. I tell kids all the time, it's not about liking one another. You want likes, you go to Facebook. It's about respecting each other, coming together for oneness and working. And these guys have done that up until this point. So we're really excited about moving forward and think we can have a really solid season.
Makes sense. Thanks, Coach. Look forward to the season.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Next question goes to Chris Gardner.
Coach, how you doing today?
Doing well, Chris. Yourself?
Pretty good. Chris Gardner, Houston Round Bar Review. Last time we spoke, you touched on you were close to finalizing your non-conference schedule. You had one remaining. How does that come about?
It's final. Yeah, we finally were able to get it done. So I think looks a little different than last year. Our first 3 games this year will be at home as opposed to our first 6 last year on the road. So I think that's a little bit better schedule. I think it's a little bit more manageable schedule. I think we can be able to gain some confidence with it through our non-conference, and obviously to get ready. I think a lot of the years past is to be solid and to be competitive in a non-conference and then have some momentum. Our outlook is different. We want to have a chance to win some of our non-conference games and then go into our conference with extreme confidence. And I think with the schedule that we've been able to put together, I think we've got a chance to do that. Really pleased with it. I think we put some time into it. We just didn't take, any game. I mean, I think we're very methodical and calculated in what we wanted to do with our non-conference. So to answer your question, it is complete. Should be out any second now, on our website. But we like the non-conference and think that some good things can come as a result of the schedule we put together.
Okay, we know about Washington State. I think you guys are playing Rice. Can you name a few other opponents, non-conference?
Yeah, we've got U of H and Duke and Kansas. No, I'm joking. No. We've got Rice, obviously. Yeah, we've got Texas A&M, which is right up the road from us. We've got New Mexico. We'll play Oklahoma State, UTSA, Northwestern. So those are some really solid programs that we'll face, and be very challenging. But I think we'll be up for the challenge. I mean, obviously, it's important to gain some confidence. We've got an NAIA opponent on there to kind of get us started. Then we go right into Washington State and UT Martin, UTSA. So we feel good about it. And none of it is easy. I mean, everyone's a formidable opponent, and you show up and you put your best team out on the floor, and you hope for the best result. But some of the games that we play, that sometimes it's not always about. And you can, like I said, you can win a game and not have the most points on the board at the end of the night because there's team goals that you put in place and you try to accomplish them. But with this schedule, we anticipate having a chance to be successful, with some of our games and be more than competitive. So we like it. Our players have seen the schedule. I mean, they know what's in front of them. Our staff understands it. Our institution, our department, everyone understands, what we're trying to do. So there's a lot of excitement. And I'm sure everyone in our conference is really excited because I think our league has really grown and gotten better. Some good coaches, great players in our league. So I think that our conference is on the rise, and we're doing some really good things across the board.
And then my last question for you, Coach: how has Yahusa Rosas fit in, coming from TSU to going to PV?
Well, we had to get him out of all that Under Armour and those ugly maroon and gray. No, I'm joking about the Cavill. He's been great. He's brought some leadership. He's a young man that he has a plan. And I'm sure Dr. Cavill probably can attest to this. I mean, there's a guy that's going to be he's going to be in veterinary school after this year at Prairie View. And his plan is to go to school up at Texas A&M. So it just all kind of worked out for him. Obviously, they all like to have a chance to continue playing. No one wants the ball to stop bouncing, but he's been great, and he's worked really hard. He's brought some leadership, some toughness, and obviously championship experience. I mean, he's been the last 2 years in NCAA tournament, so that's going to really help a lot of our younger players, our new players, to kind of watch how he prepares. But he's been fun to coach. He's always up in the office asking questions, wanting to watch film and things like that. Obviously, Coach Jones did a great job coaching him there. But I think it's just a little bit different style of play and how we play here. And I think he's really excited about the challenge of doing that. So he's been great. He comes early, stays late. I mean, obviously he's knocking down the academic piece of it, and just been a solid young man. Really pleased and proud to have him part of our program. Expecting a big year from him.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chris. My pleasure.
Last question goes to Richard Dean.
Yeah, Richard Dean of the Houston Chronicle. Hi, Coach.
Hey, Richard. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks. With Jeremiah Gambrell moving from point guard to back to shooting guard, his natural position, is that opening up Trey John Wesley as your point guard? And so will he also have competition from a walk-on that you have?
it's going to be a lot of competition. Trajan has kind of been out a little bit. He had a meniscus repair back in the 1st of August, so he's been a little slow to get back. But we've had some other guys that have emerged. A walk-on, another Division I grad transfer has kind of been, in that position. And Jeremiah obviously can still move over and bring the ball up a little bit, as well as Will Douglas. But right now it's kind of open. Jeremiah is ready to go back into that role if need be, part-time, but obviously he's better off the basketball. But right now we've got an open spot as a point guard, about 3 guys that are competing for the starting role. And it's fun to watch, I think competition brings out the best in all of us, especially, when you're out on the basketball court. So guys are competing, they're showing good sportsmanship. I mean, it's tough. But they do understand that they are a team and they're there to support each other. But it's been fun. And that's how we like to recruit. We don't want anyone to come in from one year to the next feeling like, hey, this is my job. You're going to have to work for it each and every day. That's life. I mean, and even in coaching, you have to continue to work. No matter how much you win, you gotta continue to do that. And that's how we're all evaluated. So really excited about the guys that we have thus far. And I think it's going to be an interesting. I think it'll probably go down to the final week before we know who's going to be that guy. But if Trajan, to answer your question, Richard, can get back healthy and get back out on the floor, I think he's a couple weeks away. We think that he'll be in the mix to be to be a starting point guard. But if not, I think we still will be pretty solid with the guys that we have that have been out on the floor up until this point.
Coach Smith, we sincerely appreciate your time and good luck this season.
Thank you guys for having me. You guys have a great day.
Thank you. Next up, happy to be joined by Southern University head coach Sean Woods. You see that we have Coach there with us. Good afternoon, Coach.
Good afternoon.
Coach, thank you so much for your patience. I know we're a tad bit behind of our schedule, but we do appreciate your patience with us. Coach Woods, if you would please start us out with an opening statement previewing the 2022-2023 edition of the Southern Jaguars.
Well, good thing is, last year we started out really, really good and just had a bad 2 weeks for whatever reason. And I thought that just came with sometimes you can have a great year and you don't have the experience of continuing success. You forgot what got you there. And I thought a little of that happened to us a bit. It wasn't from an effort standpoint. It was just, we were averaging 70-some points a game, and all of a sudden there became a lid on the basket. And hopefully that would change this year. We lost Jaden Sadler, but I thought we made some great additions, not to replace Jaden Sadler. We're going to be a little different, but more exciting and a little more different than we have been. The good thing is we got a lot of those guys back from last year. We got Ty Lyons back. We got Breon Whitley back. We got everybody's back, important pieces except for Jaden Sadler, and we had some great additions. So I'm looking forward to that. But it's been a great summer, been a great off season. Guys are eager to finish some things, and the attitude's been great, and it's just been so refreshing being around these guys every single day.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach Woods. We're now going to open it up for questions. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. How you
Doc,
doing, Coach Woods?
Man? Good. How you?
Man, I'm doing well.
Good.
Excited. I know we in football season, but I'm excited a little bit about this round ball. So I'm glad to be with you.
What football does is it lets you know that basketball is just around the corner, man. That's what football does for me,
That's absolutely right. I appreciate that. You talked a little bit about Tyron Lyons, Breon Whitley coming back, losing Sadler. But talk about the roster construction. What are some other guys that we can look forward to that are coming into the program, if you would, and maybe some guys that are stepping up? Or you expect to?
We got a great addition coming from the team that won it last year,
right.
and Bryson Atinier coming from Texas Southern, and just like Coach just said from Prairie View, he's been well coached. He's been in the place a long time, and just like my guard Jaden Sadler, just wanted a different sight and a different style of play. And we were fortunate enough that he chose us. But he's been a great addition. You know, we got some junior college transfer into, you know, from where Jalen Reynolds, who led the junior college in rebounding last year from South Georgia Tech. We got Festus and Dumidier from Salt Lake City Junior College. Those two guys will bring a physical presence that I haven't had in a couple years. And it's got me very, very excited from a rebound and toughness standpoint. You got also new is Jerrion and Jalen Reynolds from Pearl River Junior College. Those two guys they just breathe winning. You know, they in 3 years in junior college because of COVID, they've only lost 5 games, 5-6 games. So they bring a different mentality that I like. You know, they've been more my type of guys than I've had in a long time, just naturally. And it's helped change the culture, which was heading in the right direction instantly once they hit campus. So I'm excited about this team. I think we're tougher. I think last year we were scoring good. We weren't as good, you know, the rebounding fact of it. And that's where I was kind of discouraged with, because my teams have always been known to be great rebounding teams. And I thought that's what we were kind of missing a little bit. And I think this year we'll be a little different. And hopefully they can take over and the scoring can stay the same. And, you know, the shooting and things like that. But I'm excited about those new additions.
Coach, I want to follow up just about that mentality, style of play that you like to play, at least from the outside looking in, is always, you know, intensity, the expectation that you have in your players. Is that expectation going to continue? And if you would talk a little bit more about the style of play, whatever that will be, defensively or offensively, as you move forward into the season.
Well, we're much deeper. You know, now I can really play my style of play and can do it more often because we're deeper, longer. I think, you know, last year, I think we were in the top 5 in the country, top 7 in the country in forced turnovers. I think we'll be even better with that this year, just from a defensive and tenacity standpoint of being active hands, anticipation, great energy, and without falling off. I think our depth has improved. I think we can go deeper, play longer with the additions that we've had. So it's real exciting in practice. You know, the summer's been great. Preseason has been really awesome, and just looking forward to it because you got a lot of guys with rah-rah in them. And the more guys you got rah-rah that plays with passion and competitiveness, which is a great marriage for me, we get a lot more done.
Mr. Andrew Roberts, may I have the opportunity to ask one follow-up question?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Coach Woods, can I get a little back row perspective? You had the opportunity to coach in this league. This is your second go around, obviously previous at Valley, won a championship there. Talk about coming back into the league, Southwestern Athletic Conference, and what you see in terms of the league, in terms of being maybe deeper and the talent that you see throughout the conference. Has it changed over that period of time?
Yes,
or
it has.
is this just something that
No, what happened is, I think from a total SWAC perspective, I think SWAC universities have put more emphasis into the basketball. And when you do that, you know what I mean? Some people who have always been good from an, you know what I'm saying, school standpoint, have stayed the same. A lot of people in our league has improved in everything from facilities to coaching. You know what I'm saying? I think the coaching has really improved, even though the coaching was really great. When I first got in the league, there were some old school guys that can really coach, who was very challenging. And I cut my teeth during that time, and I learned a lot. And now you got guys with names, you know, who come from the NBA, who brings another perspective to this situation. You know, it brings more credibility, which when you create more credibility, it allows you and enhances recruiting and better players coming to the league. And I think that's where the league has grown because the facilities has gotten better with most of these schools. They've gone out and got coaches who are relevant. And, you know, we're not just a simple HBCU conference anymore. I think we're one of, you know, one of the top mid-major leagues in all of America because of what's been going on. You know, we're having success outside of conference. You know, we still have to play guaranteed games, but people don't realize when we have SWAC meetings, there's a lot of conferences that still had to play guaranteed games. When I was at Morehead State, I still had to play guaranteed games. You know, we still had some of the trials and tribulations, but I think the SWAC is growing. I think Charles McCullum has given us a platform with his new position with the NC2A. And we're relevant now. You know, we're getting invited to different things. I think the NBA has kind of embraced us a little bit, doing some of the things. We got a Pac-10, Pac-12, SWAC challenge going on. So things are on the rise. And now when you see us on television, besides Sean Woods and a couple others, now every team is relevant, especially with their coaches. And that gives this league even more credibility than it has had in a while.
I certainly appreciate you sharing that and opening it up. Great points. Look forward to the season. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
Any final questions for Coach Woods? Coach Woods, we sincerely appreciate your time. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
Next up, so happy to be joined by Texas Southern head coach Johnny Jones. Good afternoon, Coach.
Good afternoon.
Coach, I know we're behind schedule, so first and foremost, we sincerely appreciate your patience with us. Coach Jones, if you would please start us out with an opening statement previewing the 2022-2023 edition of the Texas Southern Tigers.
Well, like you say, we're extremely excited about the opportunity to have another season here at Texas Southern with this group coming off championship season and having several guys returning this year. We had a nucleus of guys last year that sit out because of a redshirt year. We certainly feel like we've got a great balance and another team that we feel like will be extremely competitive in this very difficult and challenging league again.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. We're now going to open it up for questions. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good afternoon, Coach Jones.
Good afternoon, Doc.
Man, I see those championship trophies in the background. Is that purposeful?
No, sir. You know, Coach Granger, Dr. Granger's building a Hall of Fame deal, so we'll have an opportunity to put those in the air, and we're just keeping them here and keeping them safe right now. And but we do enjoy coming in and looking at them each morning.
Keeping them safe. I like that. Coach, talk a little bit about the roster construction. I know lost a couple of players as things churn, some of them to conference schools, but you just have that natural progression of students graduate. Can you talk about some of the players that we can expect with the team coming back and some new additions?
Yes, sir. We had 5 guys that'll be returning that played significant minutes on the team last year, including PJ Henry, who wound up being conference, the MVP of the conference tournament last year. And with him back, engineering is at the point guard. We're certainly excited about that. Jordan Gilliam, who played the point and off guard for us over the last couple of years, have been a part of 2 championship teams, will be returning. So that gives us certainly reason to be excited. And then John Walker, who's really excelled and done a fabulous job for us in terms of competing and playing, and very versatile player back with us. So, and then Carl Nicholas, who we felt been playing at the center spot, been certainly an energy bunny for us, and a tremendous defender inside, can finish, plays extremely hard. We feel like we have a great nucleus and a combination of guys there that's going to help us. And then we're hopeful the guys that we recruited, we had 2 new faces will be coming in this year that we feel that will help us. And then we had 4 guys sit out last year in terms of redshirting that we feel that will come in and impact our basketball team and have us competing at a certain level that gives us reason to feel as though from what they did last year against our guys, that experience, I think, is really going to help them coming into this season.
Last follow-up question. The SWAC announced the 2022 Pac-12 SWAC Legacy Series matchup. I know it was done last year, but to credit, you've been going on the road with some of the Power 5 conferences they talk about. You've been able to get some wins in those contests, which not something that always happens for any mid-major or low-major program. But now you have Washington State coming into here, H&PE Arena, your home court. Talk a little bit about why that's important and how that challenges the narrative that's out there.
Yeah, but it's actually, we'll play Arizona State here. They initially put Washington State in there, but we wind up playing Arizona State. I think Washington State will be at Prairie View, but we're excited about it, especially the challenge. We're excited about what Dr. Charles McCullum has been able to do to bring together a program like that from the Pac-10 to have them in a situation to where they will play home and away games with us over a 2-year period. Helps one with scheduling, and then it certainly helps with their fan base because it will energize our fan base. For us, one, we'll have 4 home games, something we hadn't done since 2002, having 4 games prior to conference play here at home. We couldn't be more excited about that. But Arizona State's to be a tough basketball team. They come from a fine conference. They're well coached. They've done a great job. But I'm excited and looking forward to the challenge across the board because we have some really good basketball teams, very talented in our league. And I can assure you that night in, night out, especially on our home floors, that our teams are going to have a very good chance of competing at a certain level with their fan base. That's going to be exciting for teams in this league.
Thank you, Jones. Good luck this season. Look forward to it.
Yes. Thanks, Doc.
Next question goes to Jason Bristol.
Hi, Johnny. Good to see you.
Hey, Jason. Great to see you as well.
Jason Bristol from KHOU TV. When you gave a little synopsis of what's coming back, do you believe depth will be a big strength for you this year?
Well, not so much the depth. I tell you, what the guys that we lost 7 guys from last year's team, and 4 of those guys won championship rings as well, right? And 2 of those guys were 4-year players for us, and was on one of those teams that helped us win a record-breaking number of games in one season. So we lost some experience last year, but at the same time, the nucleus of guys that we have returning on this team, we feel like they're going to probably be playing more minutes, something that they enjoy doing. But I've always liked, as a coach, having that type of depth, breaking their minutes up and having other guys in there playing it, and it really keeps guys fresh. We'll have to be in a certain type of conditioning, possibly than we were in the last couple of years. And guys that we have on this team will probably expend more energy, play more minutes than they have in the past. But I love the nucleus of guys that we had sitting out last year, and our 2 new recruits, incoming guys that we had that are going to play minutes as well. That's really going to impact this team. So we won't have that experience from the transfer market, grad guys that have come in and have an opportunity to play immediately. Say, for instance, like a Bryson Grisham in AJ Lawson from last year's team. But we do like the nucleus of guys that we have that sit out last year, and we feel that those guys are going to fit in well.
And a follow-up, if I may, having an experienced point guard back, is that like the best thing for a head coach going into a new season?
Well, I can just tell you, I'm always a firm believer that great football teams can have great running backs and receivers, but it won't mount to anything if they don't have that signal caller back there. We're fortunate to have our quarterback and signal caller and PJ Hendry back. But the good thing about it is we feel like we've got 2 other guys in Isaiah Moran, who's a transfer in, who started off at New Mexico, and also Jordan Gilliam will be back with us as well. Both of those guys play point, and this is the first time we have that type of depth really in that position that we really feel comfortable about. And 2 of those guys can play multiple positions, the 2 and the 3, along with the 1 as well. So we're excited about that. And yes, we're real thrilled that PJ will be back with us, especially after how he finished the season, winning the title as MVP there in the conference tournament and playing well in the NCAA tournament.
Thank you. See you soon.
Thank you, Jason.
Next question goes to Richard Dean.
Yeah, Richard Dean at the Houston Chronicle. Hi, Coach. Coach, you mentioned the 4 players who set out last year. They know the system and everything. One being Grayson Carter, who started out at Georgetown. And I know he brings a lot of length. What would be his role on the team?
Well, I'll tell you, he's about 6'10", 235. We wish he would have been eligible for us last season, but unfortunately, because of the transfer rule, he wasn't eligible to play for us. We're really excited about him. Yes, we lost Bryson Gresham again. That's going to be very difficult to replace some of the things he does, but Grayson brings his own knack, his ability to shoot the basketball from outside. He's long, he's got great length, he can defend inside, extremely smart, excellent passer as well, really good basketball IQ. So he brings certain things to our basketball team that's really needed, that we feel his addition will really help us inside, along with Walker and Nicholas being able to play inside next year.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Next question goes to Mark Berman.
Hey, Johnny, how are you?
Hey, Mark, doing great. And yourself?
Same old, same old. A couple things. One, what are some things you want to see early from your team to get where you want to get? A follow-up question would be, and it's always tough to ask coaches, but what are your expectations for this team this year?
Well, our team, we're expecting them to compete at a high level. And to answer to your first question, we want to make sure that we get started off that way. We have several guys that are returning from last year, and we expect those guys to be tone setters, and that group that's behind them have an opportunity to follow. And if we're able to do that, I think we have a chance to really get off to a great start. We started our season off out in San Francisco, playing there on first night, and then we go into Texas Tech. But we're excited to have an opportunity to come back and play against a very difficult and tough top 5 program in University of Houston, and we've got to be ready. So our guys that don't have a long time in terms of trying to get their feet wet, we've got to jump into the fire and really be playing. So when playing Houston and then turn around and playing another top 5 or 6 program in Kansas, our guys got to compete at a certain level, and we feel like we have a nucleus of guys that are capable of doing that. I'm excited about our freshmen that we had set out last year that are going to be eligible this year. Those guys are eager. They got a sense of urgency and play with some toughness that we feel that's going to give us an opportunity to compete at a certain level. And I'm looking forward to those guys having the chance to do that early on.
Johnny, one more follow, Andrew, if you don't mind. You mentioned U of H. What's this like? What will it be like for your kids, for your program to go across the street and play the Cougars?
Well, yeah, those guys know for each other. They're familiar with each other. I'm very familiar with Coach Sampson, and a very good friend, tremendous basketball coach, and have done a phenomenal job. But we're excited about the opportunity and the challenge. One, proximity-wise, we don't have to go out to Gonzaga or fly across the country to play a game. We're fortunate that they're welcoming us to come over and play right there across the street. One, it's going to be great for our fan base, and we're hopeful that place is going to be packed and rocked and rolling, and it's going to be an early opportunity for our guys to play in front of a great crowd against a phenomenal basketball team, and find out exactly where we are in this early part of the season.
Hey, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Mark.
Last question goes to Chris Gardner.
Thanks, Andrew. Hi, Coach. How you doing?
Hey, great, Chris. And yourself?
Doing well. Chris Gardner, Houston Round Bar Review. Simple question. You touched on it. You got 4 home games this season, non-conference. Is that the hope plan of having that many home games for non-conference in future seasons?
I think we might have some technical issues with Coach Jones's feed. We'll be back momentarily. Working to get the video and audio for Coach Jones. I think we have it there. Coach, can you hear us? Okay, I think you might be on mute there, Coach.
Yes, I got you. Go ahead.
Yeah, sounds good. Chris, could you repeat that question, please?
Sure, Andrew. Coach, you touched on it. You got 4 home games in non-conference this season. Is that the hope or plan going forward to have that many home games with non-conference?
Absolutely. We're very fortunate that Coach Granger their VP here of athletics and their president have done a phenomenal job of trying to position our athletic programs, including our basketball team, in a little different position to where we'll probably play a little bit less of those guarantees on the road, which will invite us having an opportunity to play more home and home type schedules. And it's certainly going to benefit us and help us really at the end of the day. One, I think really with our fan base and the young guys that we have in that are coming in, that don't put them at such a disadvantage. So kudos, and we're really excited about our administration from our president, Madam President Crumpton Young, and our VP in Dr. Granger as well. So that's our plan, and that's our hope. And our home games will be very challenging. And we've got Oral Roberts coming in here that will be part of the game that we'll play with U of H in their MTE, and then Arizona State coming in here as well to play us. And then we'll play a couple of D2s, maybe NIA schools that's going to give our young guys an opportunity to come in there and play, and their fan base a chance to watch us as well.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Coach Jones, we sincerely appreciate your time. Good luck this season.
Thank you. Thanks, guys, for being thanks, and it's great being on with you, and go Tigers.
Thanks, Coach. All right, next up, we're going to be joined by Arkansas Pine Bluff head coach Bozeman. I do believe that we have Coach with us. We get Coach's video going. Good afternoon, Coach.
How you doing? How you doing?
Doing great, Coach. Thank you so much, Coach, for your patience and clearly for taking some time to join us. We know it's an extremely busy time of year. So, Coach, I'm going to ask if at all possible, the looks like the graphic in the background is kind of merging with your
it is
face there. If it's possible, maybe to use alternate background or maybe just turn that one off if possible. While we give Coach a few minutes to get his screen there situated, just a quick reminder to our media, if you do have any questions for Coach, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach. If at all possible, please leave your questions to two initial questions, one initial question rather, and then a follow-up. If we do have time and Coach's availability, we will work our way back around to get more questions answered by Coach Bozeman. With that being said, Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement previewing the 2022-2023 edition of the Arkansas Pine Bluff Golden Lions.
Well, we signed a lot of guys this year. We signed 11 to be exact. Five transfers and 6 freshmen, which we're excited about. I got the job late last year, so I thought it was very important that that our staff come in and recruit the players that fit our system and our style of play. And we were very fortunate and very blessed to bring back our team leader, Sean Doss, who was a first-team all-conference guy in this league before he transferred back to us. And so we're definitely excited about him. His leadership has been through the roof since he's been back. And then we added a guy, Chris Green. He's a grad transfer from Cleveland State. He's come from a well-coached with Dennis Gates, who's now in Missouri, but he's well-coached, can really shoot the basketball, can score inside and outside. And then we got Ishmael Plett. He was at Oral Roberts while I was there, just a tough kid, physical kid, everyday guy. And then we got some other transfers as far as AC Curry, who was out there with one of my best friends, Ted Crass, who's now at Abilene Christian. And so we feel good about our guys. We feel good about this group, and we got a young group, and we got some mixed with some veteran guys. So we just want to continue to get these guys better each and every day.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. We're now going to open it up for questions. First question goes to Charles Hallman.
Good afternoon, Coach.
How you doing? How you doing?
Doing fine. Charles Holm from the Minnesota Spokesman Recorder. I'd like to speak to you because you'll be playing Minnesota here, and usually the non-Black media doesn't give too much credit to HBCUs, and also the fans here don't see too many Black coaches playing against each other. So if you could speak on that, just in terms of just being here, and are we making a big deal that there's 2 Black coaches on the sidelines coaching in 2022?
I mean, I think it's just a blessing. I think it speaks for, I think Black coaches are growing, and I think people are starting to take notice that we can coach as well, and I'm glad to see, a Black coach get an opportunity at that level. And even at this level, man, I'm fortunate and blessed just to be able to be a head coach and be out there, running the show. And I think it's an absolute blessing that you see two Black coaches coaching against each other, especially in Minnesota. So it's a blessing. I think it's a big deal, just like you think it's a big deal, because we usually don't get that shot. And so, for coach to have that shot to coach at that level, and then I had the shot to coach in, back home in Arkansas in the HBCU, where my grandmother went to school. I think it's a blessing.
Thank you very much, Coach. I look forward to meeting you when you come here.
Look forward to meeting you too.
Next question goes to IC Morrell.
Coach Solo, what's happening?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
All good, sir. All good. Look, I just kind of want to ask you about your lineup here. You got Sean Doss coming back. I covered him when I came back in January of 21. Tell me about being able to bring him back to the roster. And then you lost a few scores from last year. I know some graduated, some may have gone to other schools. And you kind of had to reload here. Just talk to me about your philosophy in trying to replace those guys with 6 freshmen and 5 transfers that you just mentioned.
Well, first of all, it was a blessing getting Sean Doss back. Like I said, he was a former first-team all-guy in his league. He's a guy that loves to put in the work. He's an everyday guy. And then he's just been a phenomenal leader for us. He's been policing the whole thing. Guys, they listen to him. Whatever he say, kind of goes. And so just to have a guy like that back in your program who wants to win, one of the main things when he came back to UAPB, he expressed that he wants to win. And, we're blessed to have him back. And then as far as the new guys that we have in, we feel very confident, that they're going to be able to produce. Well, we bring back Kylan Milton, who scored 42 in his last game, super, super talented guard, averaged 12 a game as a freshman. So we look forward to him taking a big jump. He's been doing extremely well. And then we added some guys that fit, our coaching staff and what we're trying to do offensively and defensively. Like I said, Ishmael Platt from Oral Roberts is tough. He's physical, rebounder. He can guard 1 through 5. I think he's probably one of the best defenders. You could switch him off and he can guard point guards and just keep him in front. I watched him every day in practice guard Max Acemus, who was the nation leading scorer. And I saw how he made it rough for him whenever we switched. So, I think we got some pieces, like I said, with Chris Green, 6'8" transfer from Cleveland State. He can score it inside and out, shot 38% from the 3 last year. And so I think we'll have some guys that can score the basketball. We have some guys that fit our personality as far as defensively and being able to get stops and be able to get rebounds.
Mm-hmm. And then looking at the schedule, obviously always a challenging schedule with the road games, Oklahoma, Mississippi State, Texas, Nebraska all jump out at me. The home games, 4 home games, which I think was the case last year. I know that wasn't always the case, but not against Division I talent, Coach. Is that by design, or did you try to bring more Division I teams to Pine Bluff? What's the home scheduling philosophy with that?
With that, well, what our philosophy as far as scheduling, we have a brutal non-conference schedule. When you look at opening up at TCU, a team that was an NCAA tournament team, they're returning all their guys, so they're going to be loaded. Oklahoma's well coached. I think he does a really good job. And then when you look at Mississippi State, Chris Jans just got the job there. Obviously, he's been winning everywhere he's been. And so when you look at our non-conference schedule, then you got Nebraska, Kent State, who was good last year, Cleveland State. My guy Daniel Robinson's over there, good coach. Texas, Minnesota, you got really good basketball teams, you know. So with the non-conference schedule, as far as we wanted to schedule really tough opponents that we're going to face on the road. And then at home, we wanted to face some opponents, you know, where we can come in and we can try to get some victories. You know, I think in this league, man, you want to try to get victories. We you know, most teams take a pounding and get beat up on the road. And I think last year we only played 2 games at home in non-conference, and this year we're playing 4. So I don't think UAPB has ever played 4 non-conference games at the house. I think this is probably a first, but we did good with scheduling, and we love our schedule, man. We think we got a chance to compete, especially in the non-conference. We got a chance to get to play against really good teams. It's going to be well coached, you know. So we're going to get better and we're going to grow from all of those experiences.
Coach, good to see you. Thanks a lot for your time.
Good to see you too, man.
All right.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta with Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good afternoon, Coach Bozeman.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Good, doing well. Wanted to ask you a little bit more about your philosophy. You talked about the players you brought in and how they fit in a lot of ways and the meshing together. Can you provide us a little more insight in regards to what do you want to do on the court, offensively and defensively, and why you're saying this matches a little more with the group that you believe that you've been able to put together this season?
I mean, I think this year we'll have guys on the floor. Like, I think all 5 guys will be able to shoot the basketball, to be able to shoot it, pass it, dribble it. We're skilled in every position. And last year that just wasn't the case. But this year we got guys that can shoot it, dribble, pass it. And then we were pretty small last year, one of the smallest teams probably in the conference. And so we added some size with Ishmael Plett, who's 6'8", 240, built like a brick, and then Chris Green, 6'8", 225, and then Caleb Stokes is a junior college transfer who's 6'8". He's about 280 right now. Robert Lewis is a 6'9" freshman who's long, athletic, can run the floor like a deer, block shots, can step outside and make a shot. You know, so we got more length as far as being where we don't think we'll get punished on the glass this year like we did last year. We got more physical bodies. And then, like I said, on the offensive end, we got more skilled guys that fit towards our style of play.
I have one follow-up question. Just wanted to talk about conference scheduling. You talked a little bit about your non-conference scheduling, but you have the flex conference schedule where you don't necessarily play the full round robin. Obviously, this is not new to a lot of conferences, and with expansion, you have the benefits of what that looks like, expanding the league, but you also have this different framework, not to say it's bad or good. What are your thoughts overall in terms of how that works with your team and the matchups you have this season coming up?
I mean, I feel good about every matchup. I think this league is growing. This league is getting better. So every game is going to be competitive, especially in our conference. We're going to know each other. We're going to know each other's style. But I love our schedule. I love coaching against these coaches. I love our team chances. We just got to continue to grow, continue to compete every day, and get better. But like I said, every game we go into, I don't care if we play non-conference games or conference games, especially conference games, man. Those games are usually going down to the wire.
Great point. Thank you, Coach. Good luck this season. Look forward to seeing you.
All right. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Coach Bozeman, we sincerely appreciate your time and good luck this season.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Have a blessed day.